Another episode of Ask Knuckles and Tim Anything. We started with Tim last time, so this time we're going to start with Knuckles. In your opinion and experience in the NHL, who had the hardest punch? I heard Dave Brown's left hand was like being hit with a cinder block. Thoughts?
O'Reilly, I think for me. Dave Brown, he could hit, but I got in tight on him, and he had a hard time getting a full punch on me, O'Reilly, his left, I'm going to tell you, dinged me, and for me, that was the hardest I was hit, O'Reilly.
I thought the guy on the beach hit you the hardest. You knocked
Well,
your
Nutty
teeth out.
McNulty, surely, he did the most damage. We won't say he hit me the hardest, but he did the most damage.
All right.
What happened on the beach?
Oh, yeah, it was after my first year pro. We were drinking down the beach, friends of mine, and we were punching each other in the shoulder. We were talking. I was teasing him. He was drafted by the Oilers, Houston Oilers, football player, and I by the Canadians. So I said, football players are big pussies. And he's, oh, yeah, you think you're tough for hockey. So we started punching each other in the shoulder, seeing who could last long. So after about 20 punches, I'm dying. And I braced myself like this, and I had, lotion on, and it grazed right off my shoulder and hit me right in the teeth, and I knocked my teeth out, 4 teeth.
That's the only time, though, you knocked your teeth out, right?
Yeah. Well, I got hit with a puck. I knocked them out afterwards. I got hit with a puck, and it loosened, but they were posts, So, yeah, that's what happened, Maddie. Wonderful.
McNutty, what's his name?
Nutty McNulty.
Yeah. I'm sure
Do you still talk about that with him to this day or no?
Nutty? Yeah, we laugh about it. It's all water under the bridge. I don't care. It was an accident. Pure accident.
Tim, what was your favorite city to play in during your NHL career and why?
Winnipeg. Booty Shake Mondays, just like
Booty
no,
Shake
it was
Mondays.
just always, I loved playing in Winnipeg. Atlanta was good though too. It was just Winnipeg just kind of had everything, with the hockey, the fans, everything was just awesome to be a Winnipeg Jet.
How did Winnipeg compare to Chicago? Both passionate fan bases.
Well, I played for the Chicago Wolves, so I played and they had great fans, but as far as Chicago Blackhawks, not even close. Winnipeg's way more knowledgeable, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that because I got yelled at the other day by a Chicago buddy that's like, you can't just keep ripping Hawks fans. And I'm like, I'm not ripping Hawks fans. I'm just saying they just yell shoot, it's the only thing they yell. So no, it's just the knowledge of the fans in the game, and that's like that in all of Canada. It's just different.
Chris, who was the best referee and linesman who allowed you to do your job as an enforcer? And who was the worst? You can't name Kevin Collins, the listener said.
No, God, that's the worst, Kevin Collins. All he wanted to do was break up. I think the league gave him a bonus for breaking fights up before they start. When guys would square off, he'd always get in and try and break it up. I think Bettman told him, or whoever was there at the time, Ziegler, whoever. Anyway, I think they told him, the more fights you break up, you'll get a bonus because we don't want to see that bad stuff on TV. And I'm telling you, it's crazy. But Wayne Bonney was awesome for me as a referee, a linesman. He was really good. I mean, if I got in trouble and I was down, he'd always get in where he could protect me. You know when people hit you when you're down? I didn't like hitting people when they were down. It was over by then. So he was good at that. I love Wayne Bonney, one of the best. John D'Amico was really good. Ray Scampanello. All those linesmen, I loved all the linesmen. Leon, Ron Asseltine, Leon Stickle. I think Asseltine could have been an ass sometimes, kind of like Kevin Collins. But Collins wasn't a bad guy. It's just I hated when he broke up fights.
Do you remember any fights in specifically which they broke up that you wish they didn't?
Oh, jeez, Matt, God, I'm 65, Matt. How's that?
Now, Tim, I remember you talking about this on the Sopel episode. Which teammate had the strangest pregame ritual or superstition, and did you ever join in just for fun?
No, I mean, I don't even know. That's a tough one. I had my own superstitions, but they weren't like, just getting dressed at the same time. I always took a cold shower right before I put my equipment on. But as far as, I always just respected Ron Hainsey's pregame warm-up. He just would read the paper and drink a coffee. It was amazing. And then he would take a shower and stretch in the shower. It was like, and he played forever. Like, so I always kind of was, I would judge people's superstitions because all of it didn't matter, in my opinion.
Right.
But I never messed with anyone's. I got it, I get it. But yeah, Sopel, obviously, we talked on that episode. He definitely was.
Sopel had to fly from here to India and back, so he could be tired for the game.
yeah. So definitely he's up there. But yeah, that's a good question, and I got to go with. I loved Hainsey's routine. That's how it should be.
What was his routine?
He literally just read the paper, drank coffee. I swear, like never. And then he would just like take a quick shower, but like do a couple hamstring stretches in the shower. It was amazing. The guy was never injured. He was never on the massage table. He just, it was kind of just that old school. I loved it.
Now, Chris, if you were a referee today, what absurd rule would you implement just to mess with the players?
Ooh. What rule would I put
Take the iPad out.
Yeah. No iPads on the bench that a danger to the other players on the other team. I don't know. The iPad, that's a good one. Yeah. But what
you've
rule?
tried to do that today is take the iPads out. You've written like letters.
What rule? You know what? God. Yeah. The diving rule is already there, but I don't know.
What is the question? What rule would you
rule would I put in just to mess with the players?
Tim, what rule would you put in?
I'm trying to
It's
think
a toughie,
I'm trying to think for Chris. Because it is a tough one.
Come on, Tim, think for me. It is a tough one. What could you do to bust the players' balls? A rule, that is a hard one.
I don't know. Might have to get back to that one.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
I don't know. I'm honestly drawing a blank.
Yeah, like I could put in the rule: your foot goes in the crease, you get a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, but
if it goes in the paint, 2-minute penalty. People will go nuts about that.
Yeah, if you dump the puck in, it's a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you mean? Like a rule like that? Where you
Yeah, that would drive people crazy. You can't dump it in.
You can't dump it in. I mean...
Yeah. 2 minutes for dumping it in.
Fuck. No dumping? I'd still be playing.
I would have never played.
Well, the one guy who threw himself offsides on his own dump?
Tony Twist. He flipped it up and went behind him, and he went offside.
Amazing.
Tim, what's the most embarrassing moment you've had on the ice or you've seen on the ice?
Man, these are like tough ones. I don't know. For me, I used to just always, like, everyone just made fun of me because I was, like, short. So everyone would be like, hey, stand up, Stapleton, stand up. Like, I don't know. I'm embarrassing. I'm trying to think, like, I definitely had warm-ups where I, like, stepped on a puck. I'm just fucking I'm that asshole that's, like, sliding into their end. Like, where, like, because you're not supposed to cross the red line, and I just came sliding in. But, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really... that's another one. That's a tough question because it's like there's so many memories I could think of, but I can't think of right now. I don't know. What do you got any embarrassing memories, Chris?
Embarrassing memories during the game?
Yeah, you embarrassed people. You didn't get embarrassed.
I didn't get a whole lot embarrassed when I was out there. I guess I I guess the closest I came to being embarrassed was this girl sent me a letter. And not that I was embarrassed, but she sent me a letter at the forum with a little tube of stuff to put on my fingernails so I wouldn't bite them during the game.
Oh.
Did it work?
But, no, I never used it, but I always, what I was doing is I was biting hunks of skin off my hand most of the time. When I fought and I would hit a helmet or something and I'd get a hunk of skin off, and they thought I'd be biting my fingernails, but yeah, I didn't bite my fingernails.
You know what was
but
embarrassing?
She sent me the fingernail stuff. It tastes bad. You put it on so you won't.
Well,
like, hello.
I know that stuff's gross, but what was embarrassing for me is when I would get like once. It only happened a few times, but like I would get stuck out as a fourth line with like, Crosby's line, and the coach immediately, you look at the bench and he's just like giving this one, like as soon as the face-off happens, get the fuck off. And then like Crosby and them would just be like zone time for like a minute where we're just stuck there like just saucing pucks, and then I'd come off and the coach would be like, I told you to get off. It's like I couldn't. It's like fuck. I'm like, geez, just send me down. This is torture. Oh yeah.
Chris, what are your thoughts on the Caufield signing, and how does it set up the Canadians for the future?
I think it's great. I mean, because, listen, the kid's a pure goal scorer. Pure. Now, it sets him up good for the future as long as they insulate him. And that, put a big team around this guy. Afford him that protection. Listen, the Habs haven't had a goal scorer like that. Now, Pacioretty got his 30, 35 goals a year. Consistently. He did a hell of a job here, considering he didn't have a center iceman. And I think the best goal scorer before that was Richer, and before that, Guy Lafleur. Now they have a pure sniper in Caufield. They got to insulate him, and I think it's a great contract. People say, oh, they pay these kids. I'd rather be paying the kid now than paying him when he's 29, signing to an 8-year deal. And you get 3-4 years out of them. That's it. But, that's what it is today. You got to pay on what you think these kids are going to do in the future. I think it's a great deal.
When we had Hughes on, he brought up a story about Bergeron, how he would take less money for the team to win a championship. Do you think that's something Caufield was considering during this contract extension?
He might have, but I think he has so much respect, and he's got a close friendship with Nick. They weren't going to pay anybody more than Nick. Mm-hmm. And I think certainly that must come into conversations in the negotiations. But, certainly if a guy like Caufield says, listen, I'm not signing anything, I want $10 million a year, boy, that's not good PR for this town. Or any town, for that fact, right? You certainly got to get as much as you can, and I get that. But, he ended up getting paid a little less than Suzuki's getting. But believe me, he signed it. I'm sure he's a happy man today.
Tim, what were the biggest differences you saw when you played overseas compared to the NHL?
Just puck possession is probably the biggest one. The NHL is just, the puck moves. It does the work. Especially in Russia, man, it was just those guys are so skilled because that's all they work on in practice. Is one-on-one puck protection. And so, yeah, you just had the time with the puck. You had an extra half second, which is a lot. And Knux, you know that. I would be playing with guys that just held on to the thing for a minute. And I would just be going backdoor, circling backdoor. They're this fucking spin-a-ramming in the corner. And then just yeah, Tim, are you open? And I was yeah, 17 times I was open. You could have passed to me. But no, they were just that's the big, at least with, overall, Russia especially. That's why they're so skilled with the puck and they can hang on to it. That's definitely was the biggest difference.
Chris, what changed in the game to prompt fights after clean hits? I know you've kind of talked about this a couple of times, but...
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what has changed. You know what's changed? I guess the attitudes of people, the hockey play, the way they're brought up in the game. It has to have something to do with that, this generation. I get it. Back in the day, and I guess, back in the day, the fighting thing, guys will go after guys if it was a cheap shot. Clean body check, not so much. Depending on the player. If it was your best player, and someone ran him, hit him with a good body check, you'd probably want to even that up. But not every... Now it doesn't matter who gets hit. Someone gets hit clean. Everybody got to attack someone. So, I just... It's the mentality that they grew up with, I guess. I don't know. But... And not having guys that can drop the gloves.
Yeah.
Now it's like anybody.
Well, yeah. I was thinking
attack
like
anybody. It's like
I know this is your question, but I want to see. No,
Go ahead.
No,
Go.
I'm kidding.
I want to hear
your
your point of view.
I was going to say there's like.
What's your point of view, Tim?
My point of view is.
You little prick.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding. I was just thinking in my head as I was talking. I'm like, I'm totally interrupting this guy's question. No, I was just gonna say like back in when you were playing, like there was really no pretenders, right? Now like anyone can fucking just like hack and slash someone, and it's like, is that guy really tough? Like back in when you played, like you couldn't do that. Like the guys that didn't want to fight, they didn't pretend. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean.
There weren't a lot of pretenders. No. And again, back in the day, those guys, not many of them, like, I slashed guys like crazy. There were times I slashed guys.
Yeah, but you weren't a pretender.
Because I couldn't catch them.
You were a psycho.
But I never got slashed.
Yeah.
Which was, and I would see like Matt Snaslin have all these welts on his arm. I'm like, I wouldn't be putting up for that. But the poor little bugger, he was so fast. You go by someone, and back in the day, you could whack someone with your stick pretty hard, and you might get a penalty, you might not. And those faster, better players back in the day, they took some slashes, no question about it.
Tim, have you ever gotten into a fight off the ice or on the ice? And if not, have you ever been close to a fight on the ice?
Jesus. Yeah, man, if I get in a fight with my wife every day. No. God, not really. I mean, off the ice? Did you ask me if I got a fight off the ice?
I meant on the
Bobby
ice.
Chocolate beat me up. No joke, in 3rd grade. This kid, Bobby Chocolate, beat me. No, he bullied. Actually, I beat him up. He used to, like, bully me. I'd be along. Anyways, I'm 1-0. Since... No, but I didn't have to fight at all, really. I mean, there was a couple times in the things happen, like line brawls, where even guys, like I would be out there and guys would just, it was almost like a lose-lose for them. They would just be like, I'm either going to, pummel this guy or I'm going to get beat up by this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like guys would, like, grab me in scrums, but then they'd just start talking to other people. Like, it was like I was like the little brother. They just, like, So, no. Fortunately, I didn't have to. I fought the puck, too, sometimes when I was off. My off days, my off games. Don't ask any more about fighting or violence, please, because I can't.
Chris,
Anyways.
What's the funniest chirp or trash talk you've heard on the ice, either directed at you or somebody else?
I guess, I think it was Theo Fleury. I was in with the Rangers at the time. And, I don't know, he was on the ice. He said, "Hey, Nyland, where's your bucket?" I'm there, what? He said, "The bucket to carry the puck in." I'm like, for me, that was...
That's
and then I heard
unreal.
Claude Lemieux say some stuff about people's wives on the ice that were just sick. And, I hated that stuff.
That's rough. I didn't...
Yeah.
Tim, what about you? You ever get chirped hard, or you ever chirp anybody?
Yeah, I used to like chirp the tough guys and the minors, like when they went by our bench, and then like as soon as they turned around, I'd tie my skates. Like, who the fuck said that? So I would like joke around and stuff, but no, I never really. I mean, I don't know. A couple times, like, someone. I don't know. I don't actually know. Nothing too bad. I kind of just shut my mouth, and I'm trying to think if there's people chirping me all the time, I guess, but. Go back to China, and I'd be like, "Oh, Filipino," like, like I don't know, was that a chirp or was that just like, But anyways, yeah, that was really it.
So Tim, you talk a lot about Mike Keenan on the podcast. What is your all-time favorite Mike Keenan story?
Man, I've heard a lot of stories that didn't even involve me that were just like, oh, that's a good. I don't know. I heard so the year before. I mean, this is kind of just to make him who he is, but like the Mike Polino was the assistant, and I guess this Mike Polino, great guy, was like that. He was like Keenan's kind of guy, like for a lot, in Florida when Keenan was there. I think the Rangers, and so Mike, he used to do the video and stuff, Polino, and I guess the year before they won it all in the KHL in game 1 in the finals. Like Keenan's very, videos 7 minutes, 38 seconds. Talk about superstitions, like morning skate 17 minutes, like just crazy. Now, perfect every time. And I guess game 1 in the finals of this year, I'm kind of not, Polino tells a story because he was there, but they did this morning video, of the team they're playing, and it was like 8 minutes and 10 seconds. It was like, and they lost game 1, and I guess Keenan locked Polino and the other assistant in the office for like 3 hours. It was just like asking Polino, like, why was the video this morning 8 minutes and 10 seconds? And then like they, later that night at like 5 a.m, they lived in the same kind of apartment complex, and I guess Keenan texted Polino, meet me in the lobby, and like Polino comes downstairs and Keenan's in his pajamas. Like, why was the video 8 minutes and 10 seconds? Like, and so it's, there's so many stories you hear personally with me. I don't have any, I mean, I got my fuck you match I had with him, but, otherwise, he's Keenan, that's for sure. Those stories are probably good for days, right?
So these next set of questions are for both you guys. Who inspired you guys the most and why?
Bobby Orr inspired me the most as a kid because he was the greatest player in the league at the time and probably the greatest player ever in my eyes. So, yeah, Bobby Orr.
Richard Park. I'm just kidding. I'm just naming, like, who are these? Jimmy Pike or whatever. Those guys? Like Paul Correa.
I do.
You know where I'm going with this?
Asian hockey player.
Yes, okay.
He was an Asian player.
No,
yeah.
I'm no.
Jimmy Peck.
Jimmy Peck.
Peck?
Yeah. Jimmy Peck. No, I was a big. I grew up a huge diehard Steve Yzerman fan, for sure. Until he started like blocking shots and shit. Like then I was just like I'm out. But no, I grew up a big Red Wings fan. And I was a huge Red Wings fan, but he was the guy. So I was 19. My birthday's 19. In the NHL, I was like 56 or something. So I didn't really get a chance to choose my number. But yeah, Steve Yzerman.
If you guys could swap positions with any player on any team that you played on, who would you choose and why?
Swap position.
So if you could like be them for a game,
Be
who
them
would you?
for.
Yeah.
I mean, Cole Caufield.
Go ahead.
Cole Caufield. He just got that. I'd love to get that contract today.
No. Someone you play with?
Oh.
Yeah, someone that you
I
played
just
with.
thought you said someone in life. I was just like, yeah, someone we play with. If I could switch. Who are you asking here? Both of us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Ray Bork.
So
Why?
Yeah.
Played 20 years and would have made lots of money.
Joe Pavelski.
There you go.
Or Blake Wheeler, I got to say him,
No,
But
no, one of the other.
Oh,
Tim.
Chris said
two.
no Blake Wheeler, so Joe Pavelski. So Wheels,
be one of the
Chris
two.
told me not.
One of the two.
Pavelski.
One of the two.
If you were stranded on a deserted island with 3 former NHL players, who would you want to be with you?
Chelly. Tim. And
Brent Gretzky. He played like 4 games, right? You know
Yeah.
Brent at all? No, that was
so
a joke.
I got
Sorry.
Tim. I got Chelly, and let me think. I need someone that's outdoorsy. No, Brian Scriddling.
Oh man.
There you
Okay,
go.
so Knox.
We'd have some laughs.
I got Knox. I got. I was gonna say Chelly's a good one, but I can't just bring a bunch of old guys on this island, right? So let me think here. Like I want to like hang out with them. So Knux and got to go with like I can go Wheeler, Pavelski. I mean Bufflin, Big Buff. You know he big fish for me, right?
No,
so
he's
or is that 4?
said 3.
Okay.
All right. You can
Knux.
pick 3.
Knux, Wheeler, Bufflin.
There you go.
Is that 3? Yeah. There we go.
Can you describe the first goal you had in the NHL and what was your thought process after? Like, what was going through your head?
My first?
Both
My
you guys.
first, it sucked. Like, Bob Gainey ran into the goalie, knocked him over. The puck got thrown in the front, and it was laying there in the crease, and I just went up and, like, poked it in. And I'm thinking, that was easy. But it sucked for my first
Mine
goal.
was awful.
All right.
Mine's it was like this broken down play that like the Elliott in Ottawa was like went to literally like freeze the puck, and then I like jabbed at it, and the puck squirted free, and it didn't even go in. It was just sitting there back door, and like Jason Spezza, who was on Ottawa, went to go grab it, like stick, and he shot it in. And I scored. That was my goal. So, like, I came back to the bench. It was like... So, talk about embarrassing moment. Yeah. My first NHL goal was embarrassing. You know? So, because it was like... Honestly, it was like... And then, like... You know... Jason Blake was asking, like, did you touch it? Like, I'm like, come on, man. I'm not going to, like, fucking go to the video here on my first NHL goal. Like, you can have it.
So this last one's a little different. It's a Mount Rushmore. So you guys are going to go through and draft the best NHL cities, and you can't choose one. So if Chris chooses Montreal, Tim, you can't choose it.
Okay.
Who has
So
the
which-
first pick, though?
Yeah, who you guys decide who gets the first pick.
All right, throw fingers.
Games played.
Okay.
What are we doing? Like a rock,
Throw
paper...
fingers.
Oh, man. So what's that even mean? Throw fingers?
So you throw
That
a
sounds
1 or a
violent.
2 or
Okay.
a 4, and we call even or odds. And I'll call it. Ready? Throw fingers. Even.
Oh, jeez. Did you just make that game, the entire game up? I was like, man, this is a good, I got a good chance here. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead. What now?
No,
these
what city?
cities-
Go ahead, Snux. You're first. You won the
These
fingers
cities
game.
where we're gonna play, where we like to play, or we just
Yeah,
like
just
to go and party.
Ooh.
Like both. You take into
Both, okay.
account the arena, the fans,
All right,
and
okay.
then also the nightlife.
Go ahead.
No, you won. Go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pick Montreal first.
Yeah, I was going to go Winnipeg.
Ooh.
I know. Hey,
LA.
listen, it's
LA.
personal preference. LA. I'm going to go Tampa.
Ooh.
Like, I'm just banging these party cities out. Like, clearly you knew where my head was at in my career.
I'm gonna go. Surprisingly, Vancouver.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Vancouver.
That's a good one.
Why there?
Oh, it's a beautiful city. I love it. I love it. And I go salmon fishing all summer if I could.
That was another way of saying like the broads, the girls, right? No, just kidding.
You're funny.
Yeah, I go salmon fishing too, Knux. Anyways, Chicago.
You're funny.
I gotta go Chicago.
Wait, am I done?
No.
Did you say more
You said 3. You
I
said
got
3.
one more. I thought
Yeah,
you
I
said
said-
4. Did you
Yeah.
say 4?
Mount Rushmore I thought it was like 7 on Mount Rushmore. Oh, it's
Okay.
only. How many are on Mount Rushmore? 4.
Yeah, 4.
I got Winnipeg, Tampa, and Chicago right now. You got Montreal, Vancouver, and I don't know where else.
LA.
You said. Quebec or something.
Montreal,
Okay,
LA, Vancouver. I'm gonna put Boston in there.
Ooh,
Awesome fans, awesome town, ocean.
I
it's
mean-
close.
I gotta put Vegas.
Oh, I
God.
miss Vegas.
I
didn't
gotta
even
put
think of them.
Vegas. I know that's the last thing to city. I mean, they weren't even there when I was playing, but
Yeah,
now they are. So
but I'm not changing.
no,
Yeah, I ain't. Oh, you know what I forgot?
there's so much. There's probably like Anaheim. Is a
Another
good-
one. Seattle. I love Seattle. But
Detroit.
I can't put them up there. I already got my 4.
Detroit.
I'm in.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm in.
Yeah. So I got mine. Yeah, I won.
So that's all she wrote?
You might. I won. My Mount Rushmore is better.
Minus. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Raw Knuckles Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe.